Hello and welcome everyone. I'm your host Pallavi and I welcome you all to our Zoho Finance Masterclass. Now, before we begin, as much as I love your active participation throughout the session, I deeply value the time that you are investing. In order to keep this session free of distractions, all microphones, save the one used by me, have been muted. That said, if you have any questions, you can just drop them in the chat box and my team members here will give you the answers. We'll wait for another 5 minutes for other attendees to join in and then we'll start our webinar. We'll begin our masterclass session now. You can post any questions or comments that you may have using the chat interface within the GoToWebinar application, and our folks here will respond to you. From invoicing to order management to accounting, the Zoho Finance Suite has all bases covered when it comes to your back office operations. The Zoho Finance Suite constitutes Zoho Books, Zoho Invoice, Zoho Expense, Zoho Inventory, Zoho Subscriptions, and Zoho Checkout. Zoho Books is an online accounting software that automates receivables, payables, inventory tracking, banking, and financial reporting. It is used throughout multiple tax jurisdictions spanning across the US, UK, Australia, Canada, and India. Over 30 million users worldwide trust Zoho for their daily activities, ranging from boosting sales, increasing productivity, to managing finances. For the masterclass, we have 13 topics in our course structure, starting from setting up your Zoho Books account to generating workflows for your business. If you want to check out the previous webinars, please mail us at support@zohobooks.com and we'll do the needful. In today's session, we'll be primarily looking at how to get VAT compliant with Zoho Books. Speaking of VAT, I think by now all of you here may be already familiar with VAT. But just to mention in two simple lines, what is VAT? Well, VAT is a tax that is levied on value of goods and services sold by a taxable person. VAT is an indirect tax, but it's a little different from other indirect tax like sales tax or service tax. Unlike taxes that apply to the whole value of a product or service, VAT is levied only upon the value added at the stage of sales or production. VAT applies to both goods and services. At this point of time, if you want to learn more about VAT and its basics, we already have a pre-recorded webinar on VAT basics, supply of goods, and on free and designated zones, which you can download from www.zoho.com/a/books/VAT/webinars. If you want to know the link again, please ping us in the chat window shown to you. The agenda for the day is how to set up your VAT account in Zoho Books, creating VAT compliant invoices, understanding VAT for designated and free zones, filing your VAT returns, and generating VAT return reports. Setting up your VAT account. The registration process may be mandatory or voluntary depending on the business revenues generated. Mandatory registrations: a business must register for VAT if the total value of their taxable sales and imports within the UAE exceeds the mandatory registration threshold of AED 3,75,000 for the previous 12 months or within the upcoming 30 days. A business can voluntarily register for VAT if the total value of the taxable sales and imports within the UAE exceeds the voluntary registration threshold of AED 1,87,500 for the previous 12 months or within the upcoming 30 days. Settings in Zoho Books. As you can see, this is your Zoho Books account, and this is how the dashboard looks like. Here you can see your total receivables, payables, cash flow, income and expenses, the projects, the bank and credit cards. To set up your VAT account or your organization, you have to click on Organization Profile. You can add your logo. You can add the organization name. As you can see, I have added in Arabic, but you can add in English as well. You can state your industry type, the business location. You can mark if your business is located in a designated zone. You can add your company addresses. And if you would like to add a separate address for receiving payments, you can do that here. You can mention your fiscal year and the company ID or language as per your settings, and the reports, how you want to fetch them, like on accrual basis or on cash basis, and click on Save. Now to set up your taxes, you have to click on the Taxes button So here, first of all, your Zoho Books account, this will ask you if you are registered for VAT or not. So if you are not registered for VAT, you can click here and um, choose if you want if your business is registered for VAT. And if you're registered, you can just add your TRN number, which is a 15-digit number right here. And if you're an importer or exporter, you transact within the GCC countries, then in that case you have to enable the international trade for your organization. Once you have updated this module, you cannot edit it anymore. From this button, you can choose if you report your taxes monthly or quarterly or on like basis of your reporting basis, and you have to click on save. So this is how your contacts module will look like in Zoho Books. So here you have all your customers and vendors, their company names, the email address, phone numbers, and all the receivables and payables for your contacts. Click on new and you can create a new contact. You can choose if you're adding a customer or a vendor. You have to choose a salutation and then you just have to add your customer name. The company name, you can add it over here. You can choose by what name you want your contact display name as. To write the email address, the contact phone numbers. You have to choose your tax treatment. If he is a VAT registered, non-VAT registered, GCC VAT registered, GCC non-VAT registered, non-GCC VAT registered in the designated zone, or not VAT registered in the designated zone. Depending upon your tax treatment chosen over here, your place of supply will differ and your invoices will capture those details. You have to add the 15-digit tax registration number over here, or the TRN number. You have to choose the source of supply and the currency. You can add your address over here, the contact persons. If you want some more custom fields, that you can do. And all you have to do is click on save. That's it. Your vendor is added, Geo Customer, Geo Industries. This is how your contacts module looks here. Over here, if you have any comments, you can add for your customer. First customer, April. And later, when you want to see all these comments, that you can see like this in a timeline manner. You can see all the purchases that have been made for this customer. For example, I'll show you over here. Whatever purchases was made for Mr. Anil Rashid, you can see it over here, all the bills that were made, all the expenses that were created. If you have sent any mails to this particular customer, that also you can see. Right now, I have not sent any mails to this particular customer, so there are no mails over here. And you can connect with your mail account and you can get a statement of accounts right from here. If you want to create transactions for this particular customer, in order to create bills or you want to create vendor credits, that also you can do it from here. From the More drop down, you can associate templates, clone this customer. If you want similar details like this customer, you can add more details. You can link him to a customer. You can mark this vendor as inactive or even delete this vendor. This was all about how tax treatment for contacts is done in Zoho Books. Let's now talk about how the tax treatment for items is done. So this is how your items module looks like. Under items, as you can see, you can generate price lists. You can also do item adjustments for your items. So all the items that you have in your shop, you can see it over here. Or else whatever service you provide, that you can see. So every item has a particular number, the SKU number, which is used for tracking your goods that you can do over here. You can add a description to your item, add the rate of your item, and the stock of the item. If you have enabled inventory tracking from your settings option, you can see that as well. So I'll create a new item. As you can see, you can add a goods or service. If you add a good, you can mark if it is an excise product or not. And if you add a service, you can mark if it is a digital service or not. You can upload images. TV set. I'll add a TV set and I'll add the units as pieces and the SKU number. I'll mark if it's an excise product, but in this case, it's not an excise product. You can choose to add your sales information and purchase information. I don't want to add the purchase information. I just have to uncheck this option. I'll add the rate for this TV. And I can associate account, add a description, and add the tax rate as well. If it's in standard rate 5% or 0 rate 0%, that I can add it from here. And all I have to do is click on save. So you can see my item is added. And if you want to look at a service, you can see that service is also added like this. You can see the history of this particular service, when it was created, when it was added. So all these are my items, and you can see all the details of your items right from here. So this was tax treatment for your items. Next we'll see how to create VAT compliant transactions using Zoho Books. So this is how your transaction modules looks like. So you have sales. Under sales, you have estimates, retainer invoices, sales order, invoices. You can create payment received. You can create recurring invoices and credit notes as well. Under purchases, you can create your expenses, the recurring expenses you can add, purchase orders. You can create your bills, payments made for these bills. You can see from here, unpaid bills can be paid from this module. You can create recurring bills and add vendor credits. So we'll see how to create an estimate. So these are the estimates I have from before. If I want to create a new estimate, I just have to select my customer. I selected my customer, and you can see the VAT treatment right from here is a VAT registered customer. I can see all the unpaid invoices I have for this customer. I can see the billing address and the shipping address, and if I want to change the address, I can do it right from here. The place of supply will be auto-populated, or else if you want, you can also select the place of supply from here. The estimate number is also auto-populated. The estimate date is auto-populated, but you can also choose the estimate date, creation date, and the expiry date as well. I select a salesperson if I have a salesperson. If you have a project, that you can associate it right from here. Now the main part comes. You want to associate an item with this particular customer. So I select an item. Right now this is a service, and you can see the rate you can mention from here if it's a standard rate or 0 rate. You can mention the quantity. You can alter the quantity from here if you want to sell 2 or 3. You can see the amount also gets auto-populated. The standard rate. If you want to apply some discount, you can apply some discount to this particular customer. And you have to save it as draft, or you can send it to your customer. So this is my estimate that I have created for Akbar Enterprises. I can submit it for approval. And once it's done, you can approve it right from here. You can see the notification from pending approval to approved. You can see the status of your estimate right from here, when it was approved, when it was submitted and created. You can convert it to an invoice, or you can share the estimate link with your customer, convert into a sales order, convert to a draft, or mark it as sent. If you don't want this estimate, you can simply click on here and delete your estimate. Or if you want some changes, you can edit it. Want it as a PDF. You can generate it from here or print it or send it as an email. You can see this is my estimate. My address is here, the expiry date, the estimate date, the VAT number or the TRN number which is added, that has also been added over here. Now we see how to create a invoice. So an invoice is a document which records the details of taxable supply made. Only VAT registered businesses are authorized to issue tax invoices. The receipt of a valid tax invoice is the primary document evidence to support of the purchaser's VAT recovery. Apart from invoices issued for supplies made, the businesses must issue separate invoices for purchases made. A valid tax invoice must include the following information. It should have a unique sequential number, the date of issue, the supplier's name, an address and the registration number, the customer's name, the address and the registration number, description of goods or services supplied, total amount excluding VAT, total VAT chargeable, price and quantity of each item, if you are applying a discount, that should be mentioned, rate of VAT charged per item. If an item is exempt or zero rated, then there is no VAT on these items, and the total amount including VAT. This is how an ideal invoice should look like. If you have to create a new invoice, all you have to do is just click on plus new. You have to select your customer. You'll see that it's a non-GCC customer. If you select another customer, that VAT treatment also you can see from here if it's a VAT registered customer. The place of supply is again auto-populated, or else you can select the place of supply from here. The invoice number is auto-populated, which is again a mandatory field for a tax invoice to be valid. The invoice date is here. The terms, if you want to invoice your customer on 15 days or 30 days or 45, that you can do, or you can change as per the custom values. You can select the due date, associate and salesperson. Here you can add the items. The tax rates, you can change it from here. As you can see, the standard rate is applied and the total value is also mentioned here. These are the customer notes. In case you want to edit them, you can also do that. You can attach files from desktop, cloud or documents and save it as draft. You can also save and send this invoice to your customer. If you want to submit it for approval, you can do it from here. So as you can see, the status is pending approval, and once it's been approved, the status changes to approved. This is how your invoice looks like. Similarly, you can create other sales transactions like your estimates, retainer invoices, credit notes, and purchases. And under the purchases module, as you can see, these are your expenses. You can see all your expenses. You can upload an expense, or you can create a new expense. Select the expense account. If you have done any internet, if you have given any internet facilities to your clients, or if you have given any meals, or you have purchased office supplies, parking, you can mention it from here. You can mention the account through which it was paid through. You can associate it with a vendor, or if you don't want to associate it, it's totally your wish. You can give the tax treatment if it was for a VAT registered or for non-VAT registered. If it was VAT registered, then the place of supply you have to specify where it was done. You can select a tax. Add notes. Customer, if you want to associate it with a customer, you can do that. You can attach receipts from here. You can drag and drop your files to upload receipts and click on save. If you want to create bills or recurring bills, that also you can do it from here. As you can see, I'm creating a new bill, so I'll associate my vendor with it. I'll add a bill number. So since he is VAT registered, the place of supply is auto-populated as I've added in the contacts. The bill date is also you can mention. The items. You can add more items. The rate is auto-populated. If it is eligible for ITC, your system tells you if you want to give some discount, and save and submit. So if you want to give a discount, you have to select an account. Yeah. The bill has been created. So this is how your bill looks like. So next we'll understand how VAT is applicable for designated zones and free zones. At this moment of time, I'll tell you that we already have a webinar on VAT on free and designated zones. If you want to know more about it, please let me know through chat. Right now, we'll see how purchases are handled in designated zones. So this is the first case where he's an exporter from a non-GCC country, and as you can see that he's supplying goods to Zilker, which is inside the designated zones. So supply of goods from outside of UAE. So whenever Zilker purchases goods or services from a VAT registered vendor who is located within the UAE but not inside a designated zone, then Zilker has to pay a 5% VAT on the transaction to the vendor as long as it involves taxable supplies. As you can see over here, there is a supply of goods from inside UAE. So company A is supplying goods to Zilker, which is inside a designated zone. So Zilker has to incur the price plus the VAT amount. Over here you can see how the supply of services that happen from inside UAE. The supplier supplies services to Zilker, which is inside a designated zone, and the company inside this designated zone has to pay the price plus VAT amount. We have now seen the cases how purchase in a company inside the designated zone is affected when supply is made from outside the state or from inside the state to the designated zone. Now we'll see what happens when a supply is done within the designated zone. So company A is in the designated zone and Zilker is also in the designated zone. So when the company is in designated zone and they supply goods to a company which is also inside the designated zone, no VAT is charged. Suppose in this case, the company inside the designated zone, company A supplies goods to Zilker, then no VAT is charged. But if company A supplies services to Zilker, which is inside the designated zone, then 5% VAT is charged. Let's now see how sales are handled in designated zones. In this first case, company inside the designated zone makes supplies to a company in the UAE. So when Zilker, that is in designated zone, supplies services to company A, which is in the UAE, then VAT is charged. If Zilker supplies goods to company A, then importer of goods into the state from the designated zone, that is company A, accounts for VAT. If Zilker, which is in the designated zone, supplies goods or services to an individual and this recipient is registered inside the state, VAT is collected by reverse charge mechanism. But if the recipient is not VAT registered, The company in the designated zone, in this case Zilker, will collect the VAT and pay it to the FTA. Filing your VAT returns. So as you can see, after your transactions module, you can look at timesheets to create projects and then to reports if you want to generate your VAT reports. We have over 40 reports which you can use for your businesses. Under the taxes report, you can generate on tax returns and you can you can see your all unfiled reports. So for March, this is your unfiled report. Click on it and you can see your VAT return. You can see your tax period is mentioned from here if it is done on a quarterly basis or a monthly basis. You can click here to file your VAT returns. The tax basis you can see it from here. The VAT on sales and all other outputs you can see. The standard rated supplies, the taxable amount, the tax amount and the adjustments also you can see from here. The VAT on expenses and all other inputs can be seen from here, the taxable amount, the tax amount and the adjustments that were made for this particular amount. The net VAT due column is also mentioned here. You can see the total value of for the tax. You can see the total value of recoverable tax and the net VAT payable. You can mention it from here. When you click on mark as filed, the date of filing will be asked and all you have to do is click on OK. You can generate a FTA audit file right from your Zoho Books account. So the audit file is generated and it will be mailed to you after it is completed. You can see your notifications from here if the VAT audit file period has been emailed to you or not. At any point of time, if you have any queries, all you have to do is just click on this chat now button and our support representatives will help you with everything you need. If you want to see a demo or learn more about the Zoho Finance Masterclass, you can click here. You can request a feature or take a look at our VAT resources. Our ultimate dashboard looks like this. From the dashboard, which was the first thing I showed you when we checked our Zoho Books account, you can see all the expenses you have made, all the incomes and expenses, the projects that you have started, the bank and credit card charges, the uncategorized transactions and the categorized transactions. As I was telling you, if you have any doubt, you can click on the VAT guides and read more about VAT. If you want to watch more webinars, you can click on this webinar channel and check out all our previously recorded webinars. So this is the recap for today. We saw how to set up your VAT account, how to create VAT compliant invoices. We saw about the VAT for designated and free zones. We saw how to file your VAT returns and generating VAT return reports. In case you have more queries, please feel free to type them in or send them to us at support@zohobooks.com. Thank you for joining us today and have a great day ahead.